Hello there my friends, and welcome back to another price projection video here on TA with MK. My name of course is MK. In today's price projection video we're going to be talking about Merit Circle, or at least that's what its previous name was. It rebranded in October of 2023 as Beam. Now there is another token, or at least one other token, that has that same name, so we'll be very clear with you in this video about which one we're talking about once we get to that point in the video. But just know there is at least two tokens that have the same name, so don't get confused. We'll be talking about the one that was previously Merit Circle, is now Beam, and what we'll be doing in today's video is giving you three, maybe four different price projections for Beam based on some potential rankings of where it could end up at the end of this bull run, you know, once Bitcoin tops, of course. Right now, at the time of making this video, I want to say it's like number 95, 96, somewhere in there. We'll discuss that. What if it stays there? What if it reaches position 75? What if it reaches position 50? What if it goes even higher? And as always, guys, if that does sound interesting to you, please do me a favor and consider liking and subscribing to the channel, as it obviously helps it to grow, push this video to a wider audience. And with all that out of the way, let's talk Beam. Alright guys, got my headset on, we're in the laboratory, let's go ahead and hop into this. So the first thing we're going to do is hop over here to my browser. I just want to point out that a simple Google search said, you know, when did Merit Circle rebrand to Beam? And it says here on October 16th of 2023, it rebranded, of course, and it was 8 days later that they actually released it to the general public, which was October 24th of 2023. So again, the coin we're talking about was previously Merit Circle MC, now Beam. Just don't get it confused with the other Beam token that you might search on CoinGecko. And that being said, we're going to transition now to CoinGecko. This is where I start all my price projection videos, because what we need to do in order to apply it to my formula is we want to write down a little bit of information. And the first being its position rank at the time of making this video was number 96, or is 96. Now granted, that fluctuates day to day, but that's what we'll start with for today's video. And then we also want to write down the circulating supply and the total or max supply. And if those numbers differ, we'll just need to find out, is there any mining that goes on with this coin? Is there a vesting schedule? So will there be any coins that could potentially unlock in the near future? We just need to get an idea of how many tokens might be in circulation at or around the time, or at least potentially, you know, rough estimate anyway, of what it could be around the time we might sell the coin. Now, admittedly, the circulating supply, at least to me, is the toughest thing on a lot of these coins to come up with, as far as exactly what its schedule is, exactly when to expect coins in circulation, because it's always very vague, at least from my opinion, on a lot of their websites. And even if they have a schedule, it seems like half the time they've decided to change that schedule over time. And so, of course, this is going to be my best ability, or the number I'm going to come up with is going to be what I'll use for my formula, but understand that that is one of the variables that I can't be perfect on. I just get as close as I can. So call that a disclaimer or word of caution, whatever you want, but basically I'm here on meritcircle.getbook.io, and this shows the token distribution at the time of when it was Merit Circle. And of course, as we scroll down, you'll see what they've changed. Now, when it was Merit Circle, this was basically how it broke down as far as the allocations of all of the tokens. You had the seed sale, the public sale, Binance launch pool, you know, and so on. But then after they rebranded, you can come down here and see that they've basically simplified it, because at the time of rebranding, or at least at the time of when they posted this particular chart on this website, the majority, or at least 70 some odd, almost 80% of the tokens were unlocked, released. They're part of the circulating supply. So they're showing here that this blue area on this chart is all of the coins that are currently in circulation. There's the vested streams, which I believe would just be coins that are currently locked up in some sort of vesting rewards. And I was having a hard time tracking that exactly down to see, you know, how much is locked up currently in vesting. They're showing here, you know, X amount of a percent of 9.29%, for example. But does, you know, is that going to change in the next 2 months, 5 months? You know, it was hard to track that down. But then they also have their core contributors, which I did read on a website that the 11.48% of those actually decided to lock up what they have in tokens for at least another 4 years. I believe that was from 2023. So for at least a few years, that 11% or 11.5% should not change. So anyway, I don't want to bore you too much with this, but combine what I just said along with the fact that if you hop over here to this particular Google search, it says, with the majority of Merit Circle tokens already migrated, we'd like to emphasize that everyone that still holds Merit Circle tokens, have 11 more months. And that was as of November of 2023. So they have have until October of 2024 to migrate over the rest of their tokens. It didn't say what the majority actually was. I don't know if there's still 1, 2, 3, 4% left, but basically what I'm going to do is take kind of a rough estimate of, okay, we obviously know that the 11% or so shouldn't enter circulation. We know there's going to be some tokens that maybe either never get migrated over or do it last second. There's also going to be some tokens still locked up, probably in some sort of vesting rewards at the time of when Beam potentially tops or when Bitcoin tops. So basically, in a nutshell, if we take the max supply of just under 62.5 billion, we minus that 11.5% the core contributors have locked up at the moment, that's roughly 55.5 billion. We're sitting at 49.5 billion. So we're just going to kind of go somewhere pretty close to the middle of that for today's formula. Just go with a nice even 52 billion. I think that's still kind of on the safer side as far as how many tokens could be in circulation. Should give us a nice safe projections that aren't necessarily unrealistic. Okie dokie, if you stuck around with me to this point, this is where things will finally get a bit more interesting for you. This is the meat of the actual video where we show you how we get these price projections. So what you're looking at here on your screen is actually my Google Sheets document, which I created. Basically, it's just a bunch of numbers that I'm going to explain to you in a minute what they are, but more or less they're just projected market caps for the different positions inside of the top 500 based on Bitcoin projections. Now, for those of you that are new to my price projection videos, I'm going to roll a 2-minute clip that goes over exactly how I came up with this so you can get a little more of an understanding of what you're looking at here. For those of you that have watched my previous price projection videos, of course, use the timeline below to skip ahead. Roll it. What you're looking at right now is my Google Sheets document. I will leave a link in the description of every one of these price projection videos that I put out. Now, I have a full-length video that goes over exactly how I came up with all of this, but just to save those of you the time that probably won't watch that, let me just give you a brief explanation here quickly of how this works. First, what we have here is projected or hypothetical Bitcoin prices ranging between 91,000 and 180,000, and below that in green, we have projected total market caps for all of crypto. That would include Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest of the altcoins. Up here in a light brown color on the top left, we have projected dominance for each of Bitcoin and Ethereum. For those of you that are new to what that means, all it is in a nutshell is what percentage of the overall crypto market cap, or these total numbers, will Bitcoin and Ethereum actually take up themselves. Then just below the Bitcoin and Ethereum dominance, we have a total 3 projection, which will be the leftover percentage that would be divided amongst the rest of the altcoins not named Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it would be 35% of these each individual projected market caps that would be divided amongst all the rest of the altcoins. And then just below the green projected market caps for crypto based on those Bitcoin prices, we have the most important part of this video, which is these individual projected market caps for each position inside of the top 500, positions 3 through 500. And although not perfect, though nothing ever is when you're trying to project prices, the way that we came up with these is we just looked at the end of the last bull run when crypto peaked, and we looked at each individual position and figured out what the percentage of the overall crypto market cap at that time each position took up, which is what these represent here in orange. So then, of course, from there, we just applied that percentage to these overall crypto market cap projections, which then gave us projected market caps for each of these individual position ranks. Whew, all right, big breath. And then last but not least, if we go over here to formulas, all we have to do is take one of those projected market caps, divide it by the circulating supply of the coin, or the projected circulating supply of the coin at the time you plan to sell, and that'll give you a price projection for that coin. That would, of course, give you a projected price based on ranking. Just below that, you could actually give a projected ranking based on price. You could have a price target for your coin, times that by the circulating supply, which would, of course, give you a market cap, which you could then compare over here on the chart and figure out what ranking would likely need to be possible for your coin to reach that price. Alrighty, so what's been working nice in these videos is to go ahead and do the price projection, or the formula at least, of how I come to the price projection on the first target for you. That way you can see how I'm doing this, and then I'll just present the data for all of the other possible projections I have afterwards. So starting with number 96, obviously, we're going to scroll down on the coin rank side of this, which is my blue column, until we see number 96, which, if you look down here, across from that, the first projected market cap is 1.6 billion. Now that's based on 91K Bitcoin. But what we're going to do to come up with the price projection is type in the 1.6 billion, and then you divide that market cap by the circulating supply, which we discussed is going to be 52 billion. And then once you hit equal, that will give you your first projected price, which in this case is about 3 cents. All right, from here, we're just going to go over my different price projections. Now, I have 3 different ones for you, and then, of course, at the end, I'll give you my personal price projection. Now, as I go through these, understand that I am not going to go over these individual ones for 91K, 100, 115, 130, and 150K. You could pause the video and go ahead and look at those if you're interested. What I am going to give you is the average price, which will be based on 117K Bitcoin for that position ranking. So, for example, If Beam stays at number 96, the average price for 117K Bitcoin is right around 4 cents. If we scroll down here to position number 70, you can see these different market cap projections for these different Bitcoin prices, but our average price for 117K Bitcoin is actually just under 8 cents at 0.078. And then at position number 41 through 50, which is a pretty bullish projection for Beam, the average price at 117K Bitcoin for that comes in right at around 14 cents. Next up, we're over here on the actual Beam chart here on TradingView. Now you'll notice that it says BEAMX. Again, that's because there was already another coin with the name Beam. So on some of the exchanges, MEXC, which is the chart I have pulled up right now, is one of them. Instead of using the ticker Beam, they actually use BEAMX to differentiate it. So that's, you know, the actual ticker for this chart. I don't believe it's the same for every exchange. It depends on if they have that other token or not. So be very, very deliberate when you're looking these coins up that you make sure you have the right one. Obviously, the price of the coin helps because you can compare that with CoinGecko. Also, if you just look at the picture that it shows under when you type in like Beam or BEAMX, I'll zoom in here on the screen. You can actually see the actual logo next to it for the correct token. Whereas if you just take the X off of there, you could see that some of these other ones that pull up have a different logo. And obviously, if we were to click on one of those, let's click on this one here on MEXC that's just Beam, you can see it's an entirely different coin with an entirely different price. Alright, I also want to quickly mention that I misspoke. I'm actually on the HTX chart. Usually I chart these on the MEXC chart. I must have just clicked on the wrong one. Not really important because we do have the right token up as we have the right price of 0.016, so all good. So anyway, if we look at these horizontal lines I have here, we have yellow, blue, and red, each representing those different price projections that we just presented earlier on the last segment. And so yellow here, position number 96, 4 cents would be about a 2.5x from where we're at now, and it wouldn't quite reach this all-time high back here that happened in March, but it wouldn't be far below it. Then you have position number 70 at a little under 8 cents. That'd be about a 5x from where we are now. And then you have our red line all the way up here at position 41 through 50, which comes in at around 14 cents, or from where we're at now would be about an 8.5x. And now finally, the moment you've been waiting for, the reason that you clicked on today's video. What is my personal prediction or projection for the price of Beam for this bull run? Well, if we zoom in here on my green horizontal line, I have it ending up around position number 50. I'm actually pretty bullish on this coin, not necessarily fundamentally. I don't know the fundamentals. I just think it has a lot of hype from some of the bigger influencers. That's why the price went up so high the last time. They haven't talked about it in a while, but we know they will circle back around and talk about this coin again. And from what I understand, there's definitely some strong fundamentals on this coin. It's in the gaming sector. I believe that sector will have its hype. It's part of the narrative that fits this bull run. Maybe not quite up there with AI, but pretty darn close. So just on that alone, we're projecting it ends up around position 50, which I base my projections on 115K Bitcoin. That's just kind of where I see Bitcoin topping out personally. And with that being said, it comes in at around 12 cents, which at the time of making this video would be about a 7x. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. If you guys are enjoying these videos, consider liking and subscribing, as it does obviously help my channel to grow. And on your way out, if you're enjoying these price projection videos, there should be a playlist as well as another video popping up. You're welcome to watch those. And as always, remember, invest in yourself.